Having kids is the greatest joy in the world. That's my answer. I mean, becoming a mom and a parent has been my greatest joy.
Every smile you see on your kid's face, every hug that you get just makes everything worth it, no matter how stressful or tired you are.
I just have gratitude. Gratitude that there is a process called IVF that we can do to have children. Gratitude for CNY, that there's a company out there that makes it affordable for people to have kids.
It's so worth it. I don't know how else to describe it. It's everything about it is worth it.
So I moved here about 11 years ago from Southern California, and I got a job as a waitress at the Rio downtown Denver, which is like a Mexican food spot. And one of my training days, the first time I saw Mark, I definitely had the eyes for him.
We met, we hung out, we had some drinks, both like snowboarding. We went up to a cabin with a couple other friends. On the way back home, it was the weekend, we were just like, you want to hang out? So let's hang out, play some video games, drink some beer or whatnot.
So we dated for 5 years?
Yeah, sounds right.
And jokingly, I told Mark, if you don't propose to me at Disney, I'm going to say no. That was a joke, by the way.
No, it wasn't.
It was a joke. But
not at all. She was dead serious.
I would have said yes anywhere. Come on. No. He blew the engagement out of the park. I mean, I flew to California. He flew on the flight right after me. So I had no idea that he was flying out to Southern California. And I was with my girlfriends at Disneyland. And we went to the castle, and sure enough, he was there and proposed to me. And I said yes.
Good job, Lenny. Good job.
I did it.
You did it.
One of the biggest conversations we had is we wanted to feel like we were in a good position to have kids initially. Yeah. And so we didn't start trying until about a year after to have our first child, which is Jackson. We ended up putting an offer on the townhome that we live in now. And that same day we went into escrow, we found out we were pregnant with Jackson. For 2 weeks, I was deathly ill. It was the first time I'd ever had COVID. I lost 17 pounds. And then the day after I finally got over, I went to the OBGYN and I said, I want to make sure my son's okay. So they were like, yeah, he's fine, but you're having contractions. I didn't feel anything. I was like, I'm having contractions. So like, you need to go to the ER. I was like, okay. So I went to the ER. Sure enough, I was having contractions, but I was having them like up here because I ended up having preeclampsia. So it was affecting the organ there. And I was in labor for about 24 hours with Jackson, and they induced me, and they're like, okay, after 24 hours of me getting an epidural and having contractions, I didn't dilate at all. They were like, we're gonna kick up the Pitocin, you're gonna push this baby out in 24 hours. And I looked to my mom, and keep in mind this is my first pregnancy, I was like, I don't know if I'm being weak, but I can't. Like, I need a C-section. I can't push this child out. I am weak, like I'm sick. And so sure enough, we had a C-section, and comes to find out after I had him, I had HELLP syndrome, which from my understanding is preeclampsia on steroids. It's very dangerous. So my first pregnancy and labor was not ideal.
Ice?
Yeah.
It's not ice.
Yeah.
What color is it?
Ice.
What color?
Cold.
Is it red?
Red.
No, it's not red. Everything is, how else would you say it, prized. When it comes to their achievements, their learning, when you hear them say new things or cheer and excitement, like Jax will be like, I did it, when he does something that he's proud of, and it just, you can't help but put a smile on your face, and it just feels good.
I feel like we waited about 2 years and we were like, okay, it's time to start trying for a next kid. And it took us a really long time of trying. And
Over a year trying it.
yeah, over a year. I think it was like
Yeah.
16 months of trying. And I got to the point where it just gets to a point where you're like, okay, trying to plan the fun stuff, the intimate stuff, isn't fun anymore. My friend in California, Daniela, who also has been through a similar process with IVF, she was like, you gotta try CNY. They're super affordable, I've heard great things. And sure enough, like we got a bundle, I think it was bundle number 2. I can't remember the cost, but I think it was like just north of 10 grand maybe for us. Luckily, I got a fat bonus at work and I was like, you know what? We're doing IVF, like we're gonna commit to this. And we had some support from my mom, which was really cool. She helped us pay for some of it.
You know, the financial piece, come on, that's small fries, right? I mean, this is baby number 9 in my family for grandkids, so, you know, it's an obvious investment, you know.
We had known what the issue was. It was really just a matter of swimmers getting to the right spot. Luckily, I didn't have to do anything as far as like removing polyps or cysts, thankfully. I had a call with CNY over the phone and I just asked them a ton of questions about the process. I told them what our issue was as far as infertility. And they said, yeah, it shouldn't be an issue. I did ask about IUI because IUI is actually covered through our insurance. And they're like, no, like don't even waste your time trying that. IVF is a sure thing. I can't remember. I think in November is when we did the testing with the facility and figuring out what was going on. And then we finally financially were ready to get started like January. So we got all the meds. Come February is when we started all the shots, or should I say I started all the shots. The process was really, I want to say easy for us because everyone was really quick to answer our questions through the portal, via phone call. Even in the middle of the night, if I was like, oh my gosh, I don't have this med for tomorrow, what am I gonna do? They were so quick to help me get the answers I needed to. I don't want to say perfectionist, but I like to have control of things and understand exactly what's going on next and prepping for weeks in advance. And they were able to help me do that. Like every single email or message they gave me through the portal, it explained exactly what I needed to do to a T, at what time, what dose. It was really an amazing feeling having that support from them. We transferred her in, it was June 20th, 4 days before my birthday. So it was a really cool process.
I don't think there was a point where we were trying to figure out what was next because they laid it out pretty well. They were like, you know, after the egg transfer, this happens, and then so it was very informative, and we didn't have to wonder and wait what was going to happen next. So
the egg retrieval was the most painful piece of it, but I love the fact that after surgery, he's like, you need to eat high salt, so like eat Chinese food. I was like, I'm all for that. And we were able to get 33 eggs. I think 18 fertilized, 10 matured, if that's the right process. And then we tested 5. And out of the 5, we got 2 girls. So Zoe is one of those girls. The implantation process was my favorite part of the process because we got to see our little girl going inside and finding her new home for the next 9 months. And then waiting to take the pregnancy test. I mean, I think I waited like maybe a week. I know they tell you don't do that, but I was so sure. I was like, I am pregnant and this baby is gonna stick. And so sure enough, pregnancy test on day 7. And then every day after that, the line just got darker, darker, and darker. And so that was really the process in a nutshell.
So when Zoe made her debut, I was conditioned to the process from our firstborn, but as soon as she came out and was put on the heating table where they monitor breathing and heart rate, all that, it's a wave of warmth. I definitely got a little choked up in my throat for sure. It's really hard to describe, but like, you're sad and so joyful at the same time. You just appreciate the entire moment. After I saw her on the table, she was wiped off, cleaned off as much as she could at the time. I remember saying to my wife, like, she's perfect. She looks just like you. I fell in love the moment I saw her. Like, I don't know what to say. I mean, teared up just thinking about it, but yeah.
Through days of warmth, I'm by your side, like the stars and the moon in the nighttime sky. I'm by
Tiffany's such a good mom, and her and Mark are great parents. They really needed to have more kids, and knowing that IVF was a tough thing, I don't think she had any idea. And as a result, she has her precious little girl, which she always wanted, a little girl. And I prayed that she'd have a little girl who is ornery, just like she is. Tiffany, you're amazing. You are the most beautiful mother. Okay, I'm really actually gonna start crying. Because God has really blessed you with something so amazing, like this little girl and your little son. Good parents deserve to have children. They should have many of them because they just lighten your life. They just bring such great joy. And Tiffany, you're one of the best moms I've ever met. I've never seen anybody so in love with a child.
Through days of warmth, I'm by your side, like stars in the moon in the nighttime sky.
If you do decide to do it, stay positive through the whole thing. I know it's hard even with bad news, but you still gotta have the positive outlook. And if you're unsure, especially if it's your first kid, having a kid and seeing the smile on their face, getting a hug from them is the best feeling in the world.
Oh, yeah.
Like, there's no regrets. It is tiring, exhausting, the hardest thing you'll ever do, but also the most rewarding.
Yeah. I just have gratitude. Gratitude that there is a process called IVF that we can do to have children. Gratitude for CNY, that there's a company out there that makes it affordable for people to have kids. Gratitude to my family, my husband, and his family for being so supportive through the process, and just grateful to God that we have 2 kids. Like, what a blessing. You know, we've always wanted 2 children, and we have 1 of each. And, you know, our son Jax is amazing, and Zoe, she's heavenly child. Like, she just sleeps all the time, but seeing them both together, I just know that it was the right decision to go through IVF to have our second child, because our family's complete now, and you know, we just feel all the love in the world from our family for our children and for our complete family.
Moon in the nighttime sky.